Did a lot of the kitty stuff. And I want some adult content right now, not what you think, not like X-rated. I just want adult books right now. Also teen books. Thursday, when I originally got to 313, I read 218 pages of The Naturals by Jennifer Lynn Barnes, which I think I did talk about, and I ended up giving that one 4 stars. Really, really interesting book. And then I read 90 pages of Lydia Cooper Is a Lie, and then I read 50 pages of Daybreak. I did talk about all 3 of those, I think. I am currently doing a reread of The Lightning Thief. I don't know what number I'm on in terms of reread of the series, to be honest with you. I have no idea. I don't. This could be my 4th or 5th time reading it. Hello. I just filmed a very tough video in terms of like, this is a crazy way to start a vlog. Hey, hi, how are y'all doing? I am trying this vlogging thing one more time, right? I did not vlog all summer, which I feel like I vlog better in the fall and the winter ish, kind of. Maybe I'm just not a good vlogger. I want to be a vlogger, and I think maybe I'm just not good at being a vlogger. So we're gonna try this again. This week we are going to allow my friends that are not content creators to pick the number of pages that I'm reading. So my friend Amber, I already texted her earlier, and she told me that she wanted me to read 300, I think she said 313 pages. Now, I gave her in between 100 to 400 pages. I was going to shoot for 500, and I was like, girl, no. Like, let's be realistic. I've currently been out of commission because my dad came to visit, and usually when he comes, I kind of slow down on the content a little bit. I just have a lot going on, and he's here, and I only really see him once a year at this point. Usually comes right before my kiddos start school, and so he came a little bit earlier this year. It's just the timing changed because of like the school schedule that changed a little bit, so he came a little bit earlier than he typically does, and I just don't do content creation really while he's here, mainly because I usually, like, he has the downstairs of the house pretty much kind of commandeered, and I'm, you know, upstairs a lot, not a lot, but like usually I do my filming at night and stuff like that. But he's down here, and I'm sure he would have let me. He would have been fine. Be like, yeah, sure, but typically for me, I just don't do a lot of content creation. So I'm hoping we can get back into the swing of vlogging. I had like tried maybe 4 or 5 vlogs prior to this one, and they just never came to fruition. I just never had an interest in getting things accomplished. Not getting things accomplished in the sense like I wasn't reading, but I wasn't documenting my reading per se via a vlog. And I definitely have been reading, because I think I read over 60 books in July, which was absolutely wild. So this will probably be going up post my July wrap up. I'm not looking forward to doing the July wrap up. When I read a lot, I never look forward to the wrap-ups, because the editing process and how long it takes me to do stuff is just absolutely wild. So I don't really have a TBR. I've been kind of just mood reading, because last month I did a crap ton of middle grade, and there was a specific reason for that. I read a lot of middle grade last month, like a lot. Like out of the 60 odd books I probably read, I mean, I would say like a good like 90% of them are middle grade. So I'm kind of tapped out on it, which is funny because I wanted August to be another middle grade, but I should have known that because I read so much in July, I was going to be slumped out of reading middle grade. I actually hit a twinge of a slump, like literally a twinge of a slump. And then all of a sudden, everything came back. I don't know. So what I will say is that I want to do this week's reading vlog particularly focused on young adult and adult content, I don't necessarily want to do middle grade. If middle grade comes up and it's something I have to read, then I definitely will, but it's not something that I'm hyper fixated on, to be quite honest with you. I do also want to, I guess, kind of hone in on special editions that I have not read, because we're coming close to the end of the year. And I have a special edition shelf upstairs. Like, if y'all did not know, which you wouldn't know this because I don't think I've put it in a vlog. I don't know if I've said much about it, but I added 2 bookshelves to my room, and one of those shelves is specifically just special editions. The second shelf wasn't supposed to be special editions, but then stuff started coming in. I was like, oh, I guess I might need this second shelf too. Good times, right? Such good times. But also, I do want the emphasis to be on material that I own, because in doing Herkit for the past year, I read over 50 books that were from my own physical collection, which is good in the grand scheme of things. I know it doesn't seem like a lot in comparison to what I read, but also a lot of reading that I do is very much so paralleling what I need to do for my job. So I read a lot of new releases, but I check them out from the library, or, you know, it's a lot of money to keep up with every new release, and it's a lot to do special editions. But we all know too that, like, I got rid of everything. So I don't have a lot of stuff coming in anymore. Now, what special editions I want to read, I'm not sure what I want to do. This is like a horrible intro, because like people usually like, oh, I have a plan, I want to do this, I want to do that, and I'm like, girl, you don't have a plan. So I will say, I'm also going to be simultaneously filming my Herkit reading vlog for the month at the same time, so there may be some overlap and some crossover there, but I don't mind. I personally, as a content creator, don't mind the overlap, because I know that everybody doesn't watch every video that you put out, right? So some people are not too keen on the, you know, on the weekly vlogs. Some people are not too keen on Herkit, so crossover, but I don't know how much crossover it will be. Now, I have one thing here sitting in front of me right now that I have been waiting to read for a while, and it just has not come up for me to read it. And it is a 2026 release, and that's Domcom by Adriana Anders. And I haven't really heard anything about this. This is the Fairy Loot edition. So this is what the book looks like. These are the sprayed edges. I think Afterlight books are so pretty under the dust jacket. They do very, very beautiful hardcovers, which is like what I love about Afterlight, even though I don't have Afterlight anymore. But that's always been my favorite thing. It's been the covers. And then the artwork on the inside also has been pretty nice. So that's one possible option. I have another option that is not special edition. It is a reprint of a book that I already read a long time ago. It was my first introduction to kind of darker romance, and that is The Dare by Holly LaRue. These were published by Kensington, and they've come out now in these really pretty editions. That the Losers Part 1 and Losers Part 2 are also in these editions, and I really want to reread this. I went to go reread it, and then I was like, oh, okay, I enjoyed this, but they're coming out with these specific editions, so I did want to read these. I think I mean, this is relatively short. This is only 150 pages, but I do like The Dare. I think it's interesting and very and that's kind of the mood that I'm in. I'm in a fantasy romance and this type of mood, right? Did a lot of the kitty stuff and I want some adult content right now, not what you think, not like X-rated. I just want adult books right now. Also teen books are great. I'm not trying to force myself to read middle grade right now. I am also currently listening to The Naturals by Jennifer Lynn Barnes. I know that took TikTok over by storm a while ago. The original book was published, I think, in like 2013, so it's an older series, but I'm about 30% into that. So I may also just go ahead and listen to that, considering that it is due tomorrow morning. So this is one that I probably will go ahead and try to make it through, listen to some tonight and then listen to some in the morning before I get to work, because I have about 5 hours left, but with my speed, it's probably more like 2.5, 3-ish hours left. And I think that I can definitely get that done before it is returned tomorrow. So like I said, she gave me 313 pages. I do kind of factor in audio in there some way, somehow. But I think what I'm feeling in my heart of hearts and soul right now is I probably will finish up The Naturals, and then I'm going to start The Dare. So The Naturals, if you didn't know, it follows a main character, and she has what they consider to be like a natural gift of being able to profile people. So she can look at someone and she can tell you all these things about her. I mean, about the person that she's looking at. Her mother is missing at the start of the novel, and the case is kind of like a cold case. She's living with extended family, but she just feels like she's at a crossroads in life where she's not really getting anything out of her current job. And so she's actually recruited by the FBI to become a part of this team of people who have these natural abilities, and they all have different things, where someone is like a really good liar but also can tell when other people are lying. There's someone who's really good with any type of data driven things. And so it's very interesting. It's a little bit more on the darker side than what I anticipated in terms of how they're describing, like there's what feels like could possibly be an alternate POV, but I don't know what it is right now. So I think that probably will be a part of any major reveal or twist that happens in the book. Now, The Dare, completely different. This is a very adult book. It follows a main character by the name of Jessica, and she is what you think of like the girl in high school who's like the prom queen, the cheerleader captain, the it girl. And she has this kind of, it's not a beef, but a tension with another guy by the name of Mason, who is labeled as the freak. And they I don't want to say reconnect, but they meet each other again at a Halloween party, and a dare ensues, and it goes from there. This book is steamy, because this is post high school. And so post high school, things change a lot, and things change a lot in this book. So I'm excited to pick this one up. So I think I'll probably go with this one as my first physical read. I'll see how I'm feeling about Domcom, but I also have some other things upstairs that I need to get to, but I will keep y'all updated. I have to think about the next person that I'm going to text. I might go ahead and text my partner. He already did this for me once. He's going to be like, girl, I already did this for you one time. Like, did you not ever put out that video? No, I didn't put out that video. So I probably will text him next, and then we will go from there. So I will check in when I have an update. Good morning. Okay, so I was supposed to do an update yesterday to check in with y'all. Unfortunately, my back, I pulled my back probably on Tuesday. Today's Friday. My dad's a physical therapist, and so he was kind of helping me kind of work through it, but my dad left on Wednesday, and my back has been horrible. I've been in an immense amount of pain. It has not been a fun time. So yesterday was really, really bad, and I just did not, it would have been a lot for me to even do what I needed to do. With that being said, I did get my 313 pages in. I did end up finishing The Naturals, and then I ended up starting another book. Is it Jessica Cooper is a Liar? One of the two. The cover will be on the screen. And I listened to about 30% of that. And then I read another 50 pages of this webtoon called Daybreak, which is a really cute, queer graphic novel series that I decided that I wanted to start. So I am reading. I didn't forget to do an update. I was just like, my spirit was somewhat broken yesterday by how bad my back was hurting, and I'm still actually like in a lot of pain. I'm in a lot of pain still. But I'm about to go into work and just kind of make do with the business. Just make do. Because I already had taken off 4 days so that I could be at home and present for when my dad visited. But now, like, it's just a matter of me playing catch up at this point. So that's exactly what I'm doing, playing catch up. So I'm going to try to make it through this day, and then we'll see what ends up happening. So my partner was the next person that I picked. Love you, Bill. To give me the next number of pages that I will be doing. He had no idea. As much as he knows, like me doing content creation, all this stuff, he didn't even put two and two together until after he gave me the number. So I also gave him between pages 100. I gave him the number 100 to 400, and he picked 333. So today's goal is to do 333. I do think that I have to do the exact math on the pages. And maybe once I do the exact math, when I do like another check-in today, it will make more sense. I do think I have some overage from yesterday that will kind of cut into 333 pages, but we'll see. But I'm going to keep listening to that YA thriller. Jessica Cooper is a liar. I can't even remember the name. I don't know why I can't remember the name of the book. It's just not coming to me. It's not speaking to me right now. And basically we're following a main character whose dad is kind of like, you can't have social media. And she's like, why? I want to have social media like all the other kids. And her dad is like, but you can't have social media. Like, it's not going to happen. And there's a reason why he doesn't want her to have social media. And I'm not going to tell you because it is a spoiler. But she ends up getting social media behind his back. Her friend tags her in a photo, and somebody then tries to break into their house. And then he's like, you've got to go, and I'm going to send you to the safe house. And she's like, oh, what? So clearly there's some witness protection elements going into this one, which I find interesting. I kind of feel like I'm on a thriller mystery kick. I know at the beginning of this vlog, I was like, I really want to read fantasy. I really want to read romantasy. Not happening. That's not what's happening right now. That's not exactly what's happening. So, yeah, that's it for this check-in. I will update y'all to let you know exactly where I'm at in terms of my pages. I actually haven't uploaded to my channel in about 12 to 14 days. Been busy, but I'm hoping to get my wrap up filmed and posted soon. Just trying to get back into this vlog thing. It does feel good to vlog. I must say that. I miss vlogging. I miss vlogging a lot. All right, I'll see y'all later. Hello, so I am randomly checking in, and I was supposed to check in a while ago, but this weekend's been pretty hectic. So I had two of the picks that I talked about, where I had a friend who told me 313 pages, and then my partner gave me 333. And then yesterday, my daughter gave me 300. So that's Thursday, Friday, and Saturday. It is Sunday. I did not asked someone to do. I asked 2 people for numbers today, but I also have asked them pretty late, so I won't be surprised if I just have to double up on my pages tomorrow. But a quick check-in. I am way ahead of where I'm supposed to, I was way ahead of where I was supposed to be. So on Thursday, when I originally got the 313, I read 218 pages of The Naturals by Jennifer Lynn Barnes, which I think I did talk about, and I ended up giving that one 4 stars. Really, really interesting book. And then I read 90 pages of Lydia Cooper Is a Lie, and then I read 50 pages of Daybreak. I did talk about all 3 of those, I think, in that clip that I did in the car. So that was 358 pages, but the only book that I ended up finishing as of Thursday was The Naturals. On Friday, I did end up finishing Lydia Cooper Is a Lie, and that was 214 pages. Now, this one also was a young adult thriller mystery where we have a main character who wants to be on social media. She's 14 years old, really wants to be on social media. All of her friends are on social media, and her dad's very adamant about her not being on social media, and she's kind of like, but why can't I be on social media? Because everybody else is on social media. And she gets a social media account, posts a picture of it's her on social media, and then there are some people that try to get her. So this ends up being this whole huge thing about some involvement with some people, like her parents' involvement with some people in the past, and what the consequences of that ended up being. I didn't dislike it, but it also wasn't a favorite. It was somewhat of an espionage story, not completely, but I wasn't super enthralled by the story. It wasn't a mind-blowing thing. It was just okay. It was just a very middle of the road type of reading. So definitely giving that one 3 stars. I also read 150 pages, or listened to 150 pages worth of A Whole New World. Now, I did not finish listening to this one, and my hold from the library automatically returned. So somebody else wanted it, so I have to get back on the wait list for that. I don't even know if I'm technically going to finish this one, y'all. This is feeling like a soft DNF. I thought I was in the mood for it, ended up realizing maybe I'm not exactly in the mood for it right now. So I'm not hard pressed about getting back to that one. That is one of the Twisted Tale books. It's the first one in the series, and it is supposed to be somewhat of a reimagining of Aladdin. However, it's not. The first part of the book is very much so the movie. And I think I saw reviews that said that, and I was like, it's fine, I'm still going to give it a chance. But it is so much like the movie that I lost interest very, very quickly. So it was 150 pages of that, and then I also read, if I can reach around here and grab it, I also ended up reading 50 pages of The Last Quintista by Donna Barbara Higuera. This is a middle grade sci-fi book. This one caught my attention so much. Definitely, I finished 50 pages of this in absolutely no time. This focuses on a main character and her family who are living in a version of Earth where there is a comet that is coming, and it's going to basically obliterate Earth. And so they've been able to develop these ships that will take humans to another planet, but it will take 300 plus years to get to this other planet. So they put them in stasis. I think that's what it's called. And they are going to be on these ships for 300 plus years. And while they're supposed to be sleeping of sort, there are people who have, I don't know if they were assigned or volunteered to essentially take care of them while they're in this setting, because these are the people who are going to be responsible for carrying on the human race on this new planet. And so we're following this main character as her family was selected to go because her parents are both scientists, and so they were one of the families that was selected. I think this is in the summary. Let me double check because I want to make sure that I'm not spoiling it. Yes, I'm not going to spoil it. So something goes wrong. It doesn't explicitly say what happens, but something goes wrong between some of the people on another ship and the humans that were not selected to be going on this trip, that were left behind. And there's someone who makes a decision that instead of allowing them to retain memories of their time on Earth, they're going to erase them and basically, quote unquote, attempt to start over. This is very fascinating. The third book in this trilogy just came out this year, and I've been meaning to pick this one up. This is a Newbery Honor Award book. It is very good. There's not a lot of middle grade sci-fi that gets published within any given year, so I'm trying to do better about focusing in on science fiction. That way I become better at the recommendations. But this was good. This has been great. So I did 50 pages of that. Now, when my daughter gave me the number 300 yesterday, I should have known that I wasn't going to be able to make that 300 because I had an event to go to yesterday afternoon. We didn't get home until later. I still had to cook dinner. My partner and I ended up watching Love After Lockup all night long. Like, we don't really do that because he's not a big TV watcher and neither am I. But for some reason, we got hooked on that show and we ended up watching, like, I hate to say this, like 6 hours worth of that TV show last night. And then we went to another festival today. And as a result of us going to that festival today, I do not feel well. It was super, super hot. I don't think I was hydrated enough. And I ended up not feeling too hot. I now have a headache. I've also been having like some serious back pains for the past week. So I feel mentally and totally out of commission. I had to do a meeting today on a Sunday for my daughter's dance company. So I'm worn out. So I did not reach the 300 that my kiddo asked me to do yesterday. So basically what we're looking at is I think I'm going to use today just as a cheat day, a free day, right? I will catch up with the 300 pages that my kiddo gave me yesterday, and then what I will do is when my other two friends respond, both who I work with, I will end up using one of them for Monday and then one of them for Tuesday, and then I will choose a last person for Wednesday, and that will be the end of this vlog. It's surprising though because I have in Thursday and Friday, right? So technically I do have some kind of bleed over because I read 358 pages on Thursday when I only had to read 313, and I read 414 pages on Friday when I only had to read 333. So I read a total of 772 pages when I only needed to read 646. So I have an overflow of 126 pages. So honestly, when it boils down to it, I really only needed to read 174 pages yesterday in order to stay on track for my page count. But I just have not been able to do that. And because I'm not feeling so hot, I'm probably not going to end up reading a lot tonight. I'm not going to even lie to y'all about that because I haven't been feeling awesome. But two things that I probably will do, because it's around 8 o'clock, I'm going to try to be in the bed in the next hour and a half to 2 hours, simply because of the way I feel. And I know that work week starts again. This is my first full week back to work since I took a little bit of vacation since my dad was visiting. But I am currently reading the graphic novel Wish I Was. So I've got my Kindle here. Wish I Was a Baller, and I have a little over 120 pages left of that, and I've read about 30 while I was my kid was going through her nighttime routine while she was in the shower. I read about 30 pages of that. So in the time that I have left up, I may read a little bit more of this, but I also need to start for Her Kid 3.0. I'm currently doing my first month-long vlog for Her Kid, and for Her Kid I am supposed to be doing the number 1 right now. So one of the books that I picked out for that is 20th Century Boys. So I probably will try to at least start this. I highly doubt I will finish it. This is a pretty lengthy manga. I'm kind of, well, I shouldn't be surprised because I've had this for so long, but it's over 400 pages, so I do need to get to that. If I wasn't feeling like crap, I would pick up The Last Quintessa, because you want to talk about a story that I keep thinking about, that I put down, but I keep thinking about this book. It definitely is The Last Quintessa. And I haven't been like that with a book in a while, where I am readily thinking about it and I haven't, I want to pick it up. So we probably will try to see, at minimum, if I could at least just finish, which I should just went to the cover, because this is not the cover, but see if I can finish a little bit of Wish I Was a Baller, which it's an interesting middle grade graphic novel. It's nonfiction in some ways. It's a memoir about how the writer became a major sports correspondent or sports reporter, and apparently, if this is all true, started very young, high school, started reporting, and interviewed people like Shaquille O'Neal at a very young age. So I'll be interested in seeing what the author note says once I get to it. So I probably will try to read a little bit of that, and then after that I may call it a night, seeing how much I get. But I will do an update soon. I should have, I haven't posted a video on my channel in about 2 weeks, which, life happens, and I know YouTube doesn't reward you for taking breaks, but in the grand scheme of things, I had my dad visit. I've just had a lot going on in the past couple weeks. I just haven't had the time to sit down and make content. So hopefully this week I can get back into some sort of routine with making content. And it's crazy because 2 weeks for me is a long time to be absent from making content, which shows you that the cycle that is YouTube is not exactly healthy, but it's fine. So hopefully I can get to filming some content. I was going to film tonight. That was the plan. Waking up this morning was to do some content tonight until I went to that festival, and now your girl's not feeling too good. So I'm going to take notes on the number of pages that I finished tonight, and I will give you all the numbers and updates tomorrow. Hello, I'm here with a check-in, y'all. Okay, so let's first talk about the fact that I ended up getting my two, what did I get? I can't find what I got. Okay, here we go. Okay, so I got my two numbers that I was asking for, remember? So the first number I ended up getting, which would be the number for today, was 233. And then the number that I got for tomorrow was 260. So my two other friends that gave me numbers, both of them I work with, decided to drop it lower. They gave me the 200s, whereas everybody else, my kid, my partner, and another friend of mine decided that they were going to do the 300s, which, it's funny. It's just funny. I will say this before I go into the numbers of what's happening right now. I will say that because I'm counting audio listening in this challenge, I do feel like at the end of the day, I should have gone higher with my numbers, right? Because this is not really a challenge for me, even with me kind of skipping yesterday because of how the weekend kind of got kind of janky and weird and stuff like that. I could have gone with much higher numbers. So I think what I'm going to do for my next vlog, I think I'm going to challenge myself to read with audiobook listening included in the page count anywhere between 800 to 1,000 pages a day. That will feel like a challenge to me. This, unfortunately, is not feeling very challenging, and I don't mean that in a snide or conceited type of way, but it's not challenging me in the way that I thought. Because remember, yesterday I decided that I was just going to go with my daughter's number that she gave me on Saturday, which was 300, right? Because I didn't read at all on Saturday because of how busy our schedule was. And then Sunday, it was really busy. And then I wasn't feeling too well last night. So I still ended up reading about 100 pages. I don't even know the exact count because I ended up returning the ebook back to the library before I did the count, which was stupid of me, but here we are. So I just said flat out about 100 pages of Wish I Was a Baller, which is a graphic novel I read. I'm not sure how I feel about this one. Like, I do think it's fascinating, but there were parts of it that got a little confusing towards the end. And then I don't know. It just felt like it ended in a very abrupt way without much clarity. I mean, you got an explanation of the creator, like his experience and stuff, like in the author's note, but I don't feel like the end of the story was as cohesive as the second part of the story. So I mean, it wasn't bad, but I thought it was going to be a little better than what it was. So I'm only going to give that one 3 stars. Then today I decided that I was going to read Summer Official by Rebecca Weatherspoon. I don't think this is her YA debut, but this is a YA book that she wrote that came out this year. And it follows 2 main characters. It's a sapphic romance. They're complete like opposites in terms of like personalities. Like, one is very like a little bit more down to earth, wears a lot of black, not necessarily goth. She always talks about like, I'm not goth at all. And the other character is a little bit more extroverted, and is a little bit more like in your face. And the 2 of them get connected because our extroverted character was at basketball camp, broke her arm, and then could not do anything else for the rest of the summer, and was really upset because her mother is a content creator. She's like one of those mommy content creators and documents everything in regard to her child, and clearly she just does not like that, which was one of my favorite parts of the book, like the dangers of all of these like family content creators or mom content creators and exposing your children on social media at a young age, and then when they get older, especially when they're like teenagers and they want more privacy, like how detrimental that could be for them at that age. I thought that was a really good plot point. So the 2 of them end up getting linked up because our more like down to earth, low vibrations main character, whose name is Heaven. I cannot remember our other main character's name because I'm horrible with names, but Heaven does this challenge where her dad creates like this bingo board and they do these challenges, and she wants to be a tattoo artist, and she really needs to start getting like her artwork out there. So she has to create like something like similar to like an Instagram account and stuff like that. And so the 2 of them end up linking up together, doing the bingo board together. And she also is like, you know what, this will keep me, or like, you know, like in your face, like high energy main character. It gives her a good excuse like not to be around her mother doing the bingo board. And then she's like, I can also help you with, you know, creating a more visible presence on social media. So she does that, and the 2 of them like have this crush on each other, and it's a slow burn. I will say, like, this is a cute summer sapphic romance for teens that I definitely would recommend. I gave it 3.5 stars. It's a little slower pace because it is slow burn, but it's slower pace, so I wouldn't go into this expecting any like massive, huge like disruptions in the plot or anything like that. It's definitely more of a character study, which I could respect. So a little bit of a slow burn. So that was 288 pages. So I finished that. And then I read 128 pages of Mixed Feelings. This is also a middle grade graphic novel, and this follows a main character who is both Latina and Persian. And she is having difficulty in how she identifies because she's not Persian enough. She's not Latina enough. And like, they speak Spanish, English, and Farsi in the house. And so she often gets confused about things. She's also in the midst of, I don't think it's going to be a complete friendship breakup, but a friend who has made another friend and they're close, so it's disrupting their friendship, and she's not doing well with the fact that they didn't spend the summer before school starts, they didn't spend a lot of time together. and she met someone else and they become close friends, and it kind of disrupts their friendship, and she doesn't handle the disruption of their friendship very well. It was just very, it's going well. Like, I'm really, really enjoying it. I'm loving the artwork, but it's just one of those things where it's like, goodness gracious, not only are we having like an identity crisis, just I think typical of what happens with that middle grade, that tween age group, at the middle grade age group, the tween, like that's a lot, especially because she's starting to get like, well, she's not starting, she has hair everywhere on her legs and her arms, and she's like, I need to shave, this is embarrassing. Her mom is like, no, you can't shave, you're too young. And it brought back memories of me when I wanted to shave. My mom was like, no, you can't shave. And I was like, but why? And I shaved, and then I realized like, oh, this is why. So it's just very interesting. And then the combination of like, Latinx culture and Persian culture, and then you've got American stuff woven into it. It's just, it's amazing so far. Like I said, 128 pages into that. And then I am currently doing a reread of The Lightning Thief. I don't know what number I'm on in terms of reread of the series, to be honest with you. I have no idea. I don't. This could be my 4th or 5th time reading it. I couldn't even tell you, but I'm enjoying it the way that I have in the past. I'm about 56% into it. I'm on chapter 14. So I'm probably going to end up finishing this tomorrow. So I've read so far today 212 pages of this. So if I go back into my thing, right, and I do 212 pages, if I can get into this thing right, which of course I can't. This is why I said, if I'm going to count audio towards this, there's no way. Like I'm going to have to do something different. And I have a power hour sprint tonight with my patrons. So to be honest with you, I'm going to do more reading, but let's just say for kicks and giggles, if I was to stop reading today, and I'm doing the math on everything that I have done, I have gone through 728 pages today, right? That puts me at a total overall of 1,500 pages. I'm at 1,500. And for the 4 accounts, like the 4 amounts that I've been given, I only need it to be at 1179. So I'm 400 over, almost 400 over where I'm supposed to be, or maybe like 350, 320, 350-ish. That's still a lot, and I still have the evening to read. And I think I may continue listening to The Lightning Thief. I don't know. Like, I also want to read some more of The Last Quintista and see how that goes. But you get what I'm saying now. Like, if I'm going to do these challenges where I am counting my audio listens towards my page count, then I've got to up the number, right? There's no way that I can justify, oh yeah, pick a number between 200 to 500. And I know that easily in a day I can crank out in between 800 to 1,000 pages. So there's that. We're going to see what's going to end up happening, but I just wanted to give y'all that update. And then I'm going to try to check in again tonight, but we'll see what ends up happening. So it's late at night and I don't have my microphone, so the audio on this is probably not going to be fantabulous, but I'm exhausted. Brief story time really quick. I didn't even feel like going downstairs and getting my actual tripod and my actual camera, because for what reason? Like, why do that right now? So I had a little bit of a car issue yesterday, and I didn't even get to tell y'all that I got my last person to give me the number of pages, and it was 438, and I haven't even done the calculations on it, but I did knock out the 438 pages, and we'll talk a little bit about that when I go to wrap this vlog up, because I do intend to wrap this vlog up. I was so upset yesterday because it was such a simple mistake that caused a whole huge issue that I completely broke down and ultimately was like, I'm gonna shut down and I'm not going to do anything. Like, that's exactly where my mind went. And I ultimately made that decision. And I did not film. I did not do anything. And I still am not very happy about the way things have turned out. But I guess it's one of those things where it's like life. But sometimes life hits you and you're like, yo, can we not do this? Can you not come for me like 1,000 miles per hour? Just when I think things are like okay, shit hits the fan. And that's just the way like my life has always gone. But I will say, I have been reading because it's the only mental escape I have from all of the noise, which I think is pretty weird, except I did watch a few episodes of Love After Lockup to kind of be like, you know what? Life is rough, but things could be more difficult. So I did end up reading a few things, and like I said, we'll talk about what those few things are when I do my final clip for this vlog. But it's been an interesting week of reading, to say. I think what I am going to do, because clearly this is not like an actual reading update, this is me just kind of doing whatever in this clip. I will say that my next reading vlog is going to be me reading 1,000 pages a day, because I just feel like, because I'm technically including audio in this, it's just the challenge is not challenging enough for me, right? That's the part where it's like I could be pushing myself just a little bit more if I'm going to do audio. Now, if I was only doing print, then yes. But with doing audio, it makes things a little bit different. So, je ne sais pas. But yeah, that's just the update. I didn't want to go from my last clip to the closing clip because I was like, that's going to be kind of an awkward transition because of how I'm mentally awkward right now. I'm mentally in a transition. So I did want to include kind of like this buffer to let y'all know that I did in fact finish my challenge. I finished the challenge and we're here. That's where we're at. We're here. I was here. I lived. I loved. I was here. Yeah, I'm done. No more. Hello. We are going to close out this. We're going to close out this vlog. Now, here's the thing. I did not look at the last clip that I filmed, so I have no idea what I've told you and what I haven't told you. But let's just start from the beginning. The whole purpose of this vlog was everybody was supposed to give me pages, and then I was supposed to read those pages for that day. So the total amount of pages that I got from friends and family members was 1,877 pages. My total amount over the course of the days that I did this challenge was 3,379. So I did a pretty decent job, if I must say so myself. I do think that I covered talking about Summer Official. I think I talked about Mixed Feelings. I'm pretty sure I talked about my read of Percy Jackson and the Lightning Thief for like the 4th or 5th time. What I don't remember is if I talked about the fact that I think I talked about the fact that I was reading The Dare again, and that I read Anger is Only a Shadow. I think I talked about that. That is Elizabeth Acevedo's new book that comes out next month. I really hope I talked about it. I don't want to be redundant. I'm thinking that I did talk about it. I'm fingers crossed here that I did, in fact, talk about that book. If I didn't, I apologize. It's a 5-star read. Absolutely enjoyed it. Now, the books that I didn't talk about, what I did end up reading on those last 2 days of the challenge. So on my second to last day of the challenge, my page count was 260 pages. And then my last day of the challenge, my page count was 438. So on that second to last day, I ended up rereading City Spies for like the third or fourth time by James Ponti. I am determined at this point, like I'm going to continue with the series. I cannot continue to keep reading the first book because I wait too long to pick up the second book. The second book, I think I have like 2 more weeks before my hold should come in via Libby. It is a great middle grade espionage type of book where we follow this guy who you find out he's specifically looking for a couple of children, and along the way he starts kind of, I don't want to say collecting because collecting feels really, really weird, but he starts gathering these children that have special gifts and talents, and they take on code names related to the cities where they're from. So the main character that we're following in this one, her name is Brooklyn, and she's very, very good with technology and hacking. And so they bring her into the fold where they are trying to figure out what exactly is going on with this other technological base kind of company, and there are people who are dying, and it becomes this whole entire like heist. The twist at the end of it is really, really good. If you know James Ponti, you know he's kind of like the go-to for a lot of people when we're recommending middle grade espionage books. I am looking forward to picking up the second book. It was just as good as the first like 2 or 3 times that I ended up reading it. I did end up finishing The Dare by Harley LaRue. Harley LaRue was my first step into darker romance. I read The Dare years ago, and I left my copy of it upstairs, but they are getting these reprint treatments by Kensington, and it is a prequel series to the Losers duology. So it's better to read The Dare first in order to get context for what happens in Losers. We're following 2 main characters who had a very popular, not popular, bullied relationship in high school. Our heroine is the one that did the bullying. She was the cheerleader. And our hero, unfortunately, is the one that is bullied and kind of tormented. And they have just like a brief bit of chemistry in high school, and post high school they end up meeting up at this house party, and things have changed. She definitely fits that caricature of someone who has peaked in high school, and they end up playing beer pong, and they do a truth or dare version. And she ends up accepting a dare where she has to do whatever he says for the rest of the night. And it ends up being some things that definitely awaken some kinks that she didn't know that she had. It's very, very short. It's a novella, just as interesting as the first time that I read it. Now I am ready to move on to reading Losers Part 1 and Part 2. I then started a new fantasy book. It appears that it may be a standalone. It's called Nightshade and Oak. As of this time, because I'm in the middle of a completely different vlog at this point, I don't know if I'm going to continue this book, but on the second to last day, I ended up reading 20 pages of it. It follows a mythological heroine. It's sapphic. It takes place in what we would consider like almost like the backdrop of like ancient Rome, and she is a goddess that is responsible for collecting souls. And there's a battle that's currently going on. The Romans are kind of pillaging different areas around them, and she goes to go take the souls of some people who have died in a recent conflict. And she goes to take the soul of one woman, and then there's another woman there, and things get all messed up, and then all of a sudden she is transformed into a human. And so she's trying to go to basically what is this version of the afterworld where these souls reside, to figure out how she can get her powers back and what has happened to this other young woman's soul. And so it's kind of like a journey, and the two of them possibly, may develop feelings, but this is definitely one of those books that's more of a vibrations book, which I don't dislike, but sometimes it ends up making the book a little bit slower in terms of pacing, and this one definitely is slow. It's not a lot of action. There were some interesting points in it, but I'm still waffling because I think I'm like 60% into the book at this point, and I've just kind of stopped. So I may revisit it, I don't know, but I did end up also reading more of that again on the last day. I read 128 pages of that on the last day. So clearly at some point I was interested, but now at this point, kind of almost a little over a week later, I don't know if I'm going to go back and finish it before the month even ends. On that final day, I ended up starting 2 new books, the first being Each and Every Spark. This is a middle grade historical fiction book told in dual perspective, one following a she's middle grade age child living in Paris at the time of the invasion of the Nazis in France. And then we are following a modern day character that has ended up moving to France because of a art job that her mother has gotten. And she's not really happy with it. Because it is a huge change. She feels like the relationship dynamics between her and her mother have drastically changed. And then she ends up discovering this letter. And through the course of the book, you're going back and forth between the timelines, trying to figure out how these two characters are possibly connected, and what happened to this character from the past. I think that this book is a great way to highlight resistance fighters that were not young men. And I didn't even think about it as someone who has a degree in history. When we talk about the resistance, when we talk about liberation, a lot of times it is men that are highlighted, and often those who are younger and those who are women are not historically made note of. So that is a common thread throughout the course of this entire novel. I did like the back and forth. I think as an adult reading it, of course, I was able to connect the dots a lot quicker, although there was a slight twist at the end that I was not expecting that was kind of sad. But usually I think going into World War II historical fiction, I often do not expect there to be happy endings all the time. I think that this was done in a way that was definitely like realistic, true to history, but also thinking about the audience, the target audience, while it was being crafted. So I think it was very well done. I did end up enjoying it. And though I often seek out middle grade historical fiction that's not World War II associated or World War I associated, even though I do enjoy reading about both, every now and then I do pick up one, and I don't want to say like adds a spin to it, more of it approaches the war through a different lens, and I did think that the author did a good job doing that. The next book that I did start, and I have since finished, so I'm talking about this one a little bit more heavily in a vlog that I'm currently doing, but I did start A Game of Oaths. This one, and I think that in the vlog that I'm currently filming, like I described it and I didn't like that I did this, but it kind of just, I didn't have any other points of reference. It's young adult, but it reminds me of like a mix of Carval, which, crazy enough, I haven't read Carval, but I've heard so much about Carval because it's been published for such a long time at this point. And like the gritty and gore of Phantasma. Very interesting concept. Definitely not what we see in Phantasma in terms of certain content, but I did not expect it to be as violent, and the violence did in fact remind me of when I read Phantasma, and I did like Phantasma. This one was, I'm not going to try to review it too heavily here, but I will say that it's slower pace. We're following a main character who is a part of what feels like this circus troupe, carnival troupe, and they have these magical bindings to this guy who, for lack of a better term, is like the ringmaster. They are contractually bound to him, and not just like, oh, I just signed a contract, as in like you're magically bound. And then they are picked to be a part of these games. And the games are vile. A certain number of players enter. Everybody doesn't make it out alive. And they don't know what to expect as they go into each game. One of the things that I think I wish this book would have explored more is a magic system, because magic is at play here, but I don't feel like we got to see much of it. This was definitely focused on more of the character work and our main character navigating these games, especially from a point of anger and a point of grief. And her sister had been in the games prior to her and did not make it out alive, because these games are televised. So almost in a way too, it feels kind of Hunger Games-esque. I think that's another point of reference. They're televised for everyone to be able to watch. And so she had to watch her sister die, and was not able to be relinquished from the contract that she had with this ringmaster. There's also great social commentary about the impact of colonialism, because it seems like our characters are of South Asian descent. At least that's what seemingly for me was implied. And so their treatment and being in France, because this is taking place in France, is very complex when we're talking about it from a racial and ethnic standpoint, which is very real to how a lot of Western European countries view immigrants to their nations, the same problems that we have here in the United States. So I think the social commentary aspect of it was good. Like I said, I do think the pacing faltered in some places, and I wish that we would have gotten exploration of the magic system a little bit more than we did. But I mean, overall, with the 324 pages that I read at that time, I thought it was pretty interesting. I definitely dive into it a little bit in the vlog that will go up the week after this one. But overall, I will say it was a great reading week. I mean, I've ended up finishing The Naturals. I finished Lydia Cooper Is a Lie. I finished Wish I Was a Baller, Summer Official, Mixed Feelings, Percy Jackson and the Lightning Thief. We finished Anger Is Only a Shadow, The Dare, City Spies, Each and Every Spark. And then we started a whole bunch of other stuff. So a good reading week where, I mean, that's about 10 things in a week. Not bad, I must say so myself. But I hope you all have enjoyed it. I love doing these kind of mini challenges and reading vlogs. They're kind of fun. The one that I am currently doing, unfortunately, it goes left a little bit, but we'll save that for the next video. As always, if you like this video, give it a thumbs up. If you want to see more content from me, click the subscribe button, hit the bell for notifications. If you're looking to follow me on social media or to support the channel or buy books that I'm actively unhauling on Pango, all that stuff will be down in the description box below. And I think that is it, right? Did I already say like, click, subscribe, all that jazz? Who knows? I'm also very tired. But as always, I'll see y'all in the next video. Bye!